Unfortunately, the flight itself will be declared cancelled very shortly.
Air Canada sucks. We all know it, and I knew it too after flying with them before. Yet for some reason I decided to give them another chance, and now I despise them even more. But why does everyone hate Air Canada? Well, I found out the hard way. It all started making sense when I looked into their past. Because Air Canada didn't just wake up one day and decided to suck. Founded in 1937 as Trans-Canada Airlines, they quickly became experts at regularly crashing their planes. In 1964, they rebranded as Air Canada, still crashing, just less. They ditched first class, were the first airline to ban smoking on board, and later co-founded Star Alliance. By the 2000s, they continued to grow their monopoly, as it is the case with nearly all big companies in Canada, because it means companies can basically charge whatever they want and deliver crappy services in return. So if you're from Canada and watching this review, you'll probably fly Air Canada again anyway, because in many cases, they're simply the only choice you have. Today the reputation is gloriously awful. Air Canada has basically become a national meme. And what better way to experience the disaster than by actually flying with them? That's precisely what we're doing here in Toronto. Or at least trying to. Well, we made a brilliant decision to fly from Mexico City to Zurich with Air Canada, a choice that of course includes a stopover at Toronto Pearson, the most gloriously dysfunctional airport on earth, where dreams go to die and delays are basically a local tradition. The first leg of the journey was rather uneventful. We arrived from Mexico in the early morning and prepared for our nearly 14-hour layover. Plenty of time to explore the city and soak up some authentic Canadian weather. And let me tell you, I'm a huge fan of the meteorological conditions here. A light breeze drifts through the air and delicate snowflakes dance gracefully. The temperatures are mild, it's nearly tropical, and in no way we wish we would still be drinking Coronitas at the beach of Tulum.
Love it.
Well, I admit that the weather isn't perfect for flying today. If I'd say that there's no influence in that on flight schedules, I'd be more in denial than an Egyptian riverboat. So let me be clear. I'm not blaming Air Canada for the weather conditions, which were so painfully mediocre that some planes started doing backdrops here. But I'm blaming Air Canada for everything else you're about to see in this video, the very reasons why everyone hates them. Before we attempt to escape this frozen nightmare, our last stop is the Toronto Reference Library, home of over 1.6 million books, as well as a couple of hobos screaming around. A truly enriching experience. But eventually it's time to get to the airport, and we opt for public transportation. A 40-minute ride, which is about as fast as taking a car. Obviously this is still North America, so taking public transport is surprisingly easy. In Toronto, there is no subway to the airport, but you can take a train called Union Pearson Express. From downtown it will cost you around 12 Canadian dollars per trip. However, in our case, it's faster and cheaper to take the subway line number 2 to Dundas West Station, walk 3 minutes to Bloor GO Station and take the airport train from there. Getting off the station, I look at my surroundings and briefly wonder if he accidentally took a train to Soviet Russia. No, this is Dundas West, dear comrades and comradines. And from here we have to march through the snow to our train.
A beautiful weather today in Canada.
We arrive at the Bloor GO station in time and praise the Canadian train people that there is a shelter. Since, luckily, we have the first leg of our Air Canada flight already behind us, there is no need to check in online or to worry about our bags. Or at least that's what we thought at that point. Therefore, we are dedicating all our energy to the effortful task of waiting on our train, and despite the weather, it arrives on time. Welcome aboard the Union Pearson Express, which connects the city of Toronto with the airport. And here, some stats about the train. And I know you're interested in those too, because, let's be honest, we're all a bit autistic here. Inaugurated in 2015 for the Pan American Games, the UP Express train departs every 15 minutes, 7 days a week. It has an operating speed of 145 km per hour, that's 90 miles per hour, and the ride to the airport takes around 20 minutes. With its particular seats, tray tables and overhead bins, the interior of this train looks suspiciously like the inside of a plane, which could be mildly confusing, especially for those who consumed questionable amounts of edibles. Easy to do considering they're sold all over the city. Welcome to Toronto Pearson International Airport, Terminal 1. So far, everything is still going surprisingly great. Completely oblivious to the chaos lurking ahead, we're actually looking forward to boarding our Air Canada 777, the plane that's supposed to take us to Zurich tonight. However, with an average of 50% of flights being delayed, Toronto Pearson proudly holds the title of worst airport in the world when it comes to punctuality. But don't worry, they're working on it, and so far, the results are truly impressive.
So we've seen almost a doubling in terms of improvement on on-time performance since last year. That is a reflection of all the work that we've done across the ecosystem together with our partner airlines, with agencies, reducing processing time, reducing wait times, and fine-tuning operations with our air carrier partners. And we see the great results that have come from that.
Today is no different. Departing flights are currently delayed by an average of 59 minutes, and Flight Radar shows major issues, with the delay index proudly maxed out at 5.0. To be fair though, there is a massive snowstorm raging outside, so for once Air Canada and the airport might not be entirely to blame. Inside, the departure hall is packed, and the lines at Air Canada's counters are absolutely monstrous. Luckily, we already have our boarding passes and can head straight to security, dodging at least one nightmare today. Toronto Airport does seem nice, clean, modern and well kept. But just like the last time we passed through, it feels like it's bursting at the seams. There's nowhere near enough seating, boarding areas are cramped, and the restaurant and lounges have lines that could rival a theme park. At least the weather is improving slightly, but outside it's still whiter than the nostrils of a Passport Pro arriving from Medellin. As I'm editing this video, there's still no official explanation for why the Delta flight from Minneapolis slipped and fell on its back here in Toronto, but looking at the icy tarmac, I have a few suspicions. Terrible weather outside or not, there's still something oddly meditative about watching planes in the snow. Or maybe I'm just losing it. But snap back to reality. We're still stuck at the airport waiting for boarding. It's dark outside now and somehow the delay's even been reduced. Finally, we are ready to board our Air Canada Boeing 777-200 with destination Zurich. Our ride is 17 years old and was delivered to Air Canada in 2008. At the time of producing this video, within the last 5 flights scheduled on this exact plane, 4 flights were cancelled due to maintenance issues, which, and I'm no aviation expert, is not normal. If you ask me, it might be a smart idea to take another plane, but again, I'm no aviation expert and I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. That said, I've gotta admit, this plane looks pretty good, inside and out. Reconfigured in 2016, both business and economy class actually look surprisingly nice. Even the in-flight entertainment starts early as one of the crew members, probably the purser, is busy telling off a co-worker right in front of everyone. Not the best look for good customer service or for good team spirit, but from what I've heard and I'm about to experience myself, Air Canada seems to lack both. On the bright side, at least the cabin itself looks decent. The economy class cabin features a 3-for-3 configuration with a large in-flight entertainment screen and a surprisingly comfortable headrest. With 79 cm, that's 31 inches, of legroom, it's a solid economy class seat. However, Pachi and I wouldn't be cuddling under the same blanket tonight. For some reason, Air Canada decided to seat us one behind the other instead of next to each other. To make things even more confusing, the woman next to me turned out to be the daughter of the woman seated next to Pachi. No clue what kind of 4D chess Air Canada was playing here, but I ended up switching seats with the mother so everyone could sit together. Honestly, considering seat reservations would have cost $55 per person during booking and a whopping $100 per person at check-in, I'm just glad we saved that money. However, the happiness didn't last long as we just wouldn't move. After waiting at the plane for nearly an hour, I basically knew the in-flight menu by heart, but finally.
Flugzeug ist kaputt, jetzt dürfen wir wieder alle aussteigen.
Where to go as far as the next check goes. So, very unfortunate. The good news is time. So once we get into the airplane, the airline will work.
Once you exit the aircraft, do remain in the gate area, and as soon as they have any information, they are going to make an announcement. As soon as we have procured an aircraft, and to let you know if there will be a gate.
Yes, for the instruction from a ground crew. Thank you.
We have to wait this moment.
However, we couldn't leave the plane for quite a while because the gate was closed. Honestly, I'm not even mad. Better standing inside the aircraft than being cramped in the jet bridge like the passengers up front probably were. Eventually the gate is cleared and we are finally able to disembark.
2 hours later, and we are here again.
Unfortunately, the flight itself will be declared canceled very shortly. Offline from the aircraft and will be available for pickup at carousel number 10. We do not have accommodations here in Toronto. We did not originate from Toronto. If you came from other flights or do not live in Toronto, you'll be issued a hotel for the stay. To after operations will be declared cancelled due to a mechanical issue on board. The aircraft itself is unserviceable, it is not airworthy and unsafe. For the passengers who are affected, you will be rebooked by our ticketing department in the background. There's too many connections, too many intricate connections on this flight for us to go through one at a time. As per directive, all passengers who are on this flight are requested to exit the boarding lounge, clear Canada Customs, and pick up the baggage at carousel number 10. All baggage will be offloaded momentarily from the aircraft, brought back to the terminal, and will be offloaded in carousel number 10. Make your way to the nearest duty-free store to refund or leave the item after duty-free. Once again, those duty-free items must be returned prior to leaving this area. Thank you.
But they checked us in separately, maybe that's why. I don't know why. At the airport you had a problem with the check-in.
You are going to Munich tomorrow. Say flight 836, say evening flight.
Okay.
Accommodations has already been issued to you, folks.
Okay.
So check the email.
Okay. Yeah, I just got it now. Yes, I got it now.
Okay.
Yeah. And transport to the
Transport,
hotel?
it's everything, all the hotels there in the vicinity are airport hotels.
Ah,
They
airport
have,
hotel. Okay.
shuttles there in the back.
Okay.
Okay, so all the information necessary for your hotels, it's already on the email
Okay.
that will be sent.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, thank you.
Airport hotel, my ass. The jaw-droppingly awesome options they sent are either a 2-star hotel with 3.7 stars on Google, 61 kilometers from the airport, or a highway hotel in Guelph, 53 kilometers away. Since the second one looked better and was closer, we are going with that one. Turns out, the hotel isn't 51 kilometers away as described, it's nearly 70, and thanks to the nice weather, the lovely midnight drive from the airport would take around 1 hour and 15 minutes. An Uber at that point was a steal at just $117 one way.
Yeah, easy. Air Canada. Chaos.
They also managed to break my bag. Just a little, but now I can't close it anymore. It's an old bag anyway, so whatever, no idea why they opened it in the first place, but The line at the baggage service desk is endless, so I decide to do the same thing I did with all my hopes and ambitions for my life. Just let it go.
Welcome back to Canada. So the email said we have to go to find a representative, and now we find one, and I just want to sleep. Air Canada.
Together with a group of equally stranded passengers of the Zurich flight, some with hotels miles away, some with no hotels at all, and others just confused, we head to the Air Canada counter. After 20 minutes of a truly exciting waiting session, we're sent to another counter. Another 20-minute wait, and then, to my delight, I'm told that we were right about the first counter. It was the correct one, not this one. So we're sent back again.
No, there's the managers there. They're all waiting there. Only passengers on the check-in flights there. We're just there.
The cherry on top is the super annoyed staff yelling at passengers, and at this point even the calmest passengers are going nuts. Meanwhile, I'm just standing there, fascinated, observing the phenomenon of friend-deceiving Canadians suddenly unleashing their inner Karens. Another fun fact that luckily wouldn't affect us: only passengers connecting through Toronto are eligible for an accommodation. So if your journey started in Toronto, there's no hotel for you. While we were waiting, we chatted with a few people. One guy had driven 3 hours from the US just to get stuck here. Another woman flew in from BC on a separate booking. Neither of them gets a hotel. So they have two choices: pay a ridiculous price for a last-minute hotel, or spend the night at a completely packed airport with barely any decent place to sit, let alone sleep.
But I don't have access to this phone number here. It's my Swiss number. I can't. Yes.
I have no email about a hotel.
Take that elevator to level 1.
Yes.
You're going to exit. You're going to find a commissioner. Airline Limousine.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to give them only one. You give them this one.
Yes.
The address to the hotel is there.
Yes.
Give them this.
Okay.
Ask him for a business card.
Yes.
Arrange for transportation to come back.
Okay.
And you give him this tomorrow. If he says he wants both, you say no.
Okay.
Because if you don't have this for tomorrow, you have to pay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So now you're all set.
Yeah. To check in for tomorrow. Can we do it now or?
You do it over there.
Eventually, we got a taxi voucher from Air Canada at the counter. And despite everything, I have to give them some credit. Both the taxi and the hotel are fully covered by the airline. I've been on other flights that got cancelled, and in those cases, they just told you to submit your expenses and maybe you'd get something back. Another time, all I got was a travel discount for the next booking, not even a rebooking or a refund. I guess in most countries it's the law to provide free alternative flights plus accommodation, so at least Air Canada sticks to the legal basics.
Okay, in the hotel.
Okay.
Keep that. Send them to me until this is.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. They all have cancelled flights. All of them. Finding transportation to our hotel in Guelph.
Yeah, I found out a country. It's called Guelph.
Still at the airport. There's a huge line for the limo. I mean, I'm happy that Air Canada, at least they keep their promise, like they pay the hotel, they pay the transportation, everything. It's just annoying to wait so long, but I mean, I have to give them credit for like following the law. We made some friends along the journey at least, but yeah, I'm just so tired. I did not sleep the last night because we came in from Mexico and I just want to sleep. But yeah. We have been waiting for over 20 minutes now, and the line is still the same. It's still the same man in the front who didn't move at all.
You guys going to Guelph, huh?
Yes.
What's our armor? We will come then, he will do cutting. You're gonna follow because there are a lot of people, they just take it and then you guys don't know what to do. You got my point? Like first you guys go to the hotel, when you got the room number, then call.
So good, but I understand. I think It's exactly 1 a.m. now. And we just arrived at the hotel finally. Actually, we should be over the Atlantic now. Half through our flight, more than half through our flight to Switzerland. Now we're still in Canada, somewhere in and over. But yeah, I'm very, very tired. We will sleep now and see you guys tomorrow. Good morning from Guelph. Already same shit. So I have no idea what we will do all day today because we fly in the evening and we have to check out here. So I think we'll just have to wait at the airport. Yeah, and then we'll fly over to Munich and then we'll be in Munich tomorrow, so Monday. And then we fly from Munich to Zurich. So our Sunday is gone and half our Monday is gone. But at least we got another flight for free. So I'll take a shower now and then we'll check out. But it is still snowing outside like crazy. So I hope we will get to the airport and I hope our flight will take off. Otherwise it will take even longer.
The hotel is better than expected, so thanks to Air Canada for sponsoring that. Unfortunately, there's not much to do around here, so we'll just wait for checkout and then head back to the airport. The guy on the line was pissed that he couldn't reach me on my phone number and that I didn't call last night. Somehow I must have misunderstood the instructions from the driver yesterday, but at least we will get a car in 2 hours, unlike the other guys from our flight who were told that there would be no cars available within the time they needed one. This time we shared a car, and due to the slippery conditions, it's going to be a long drive again. But now the weather is getting really bad. Let me remind you, this is just one day before Delta Airlines flight 4819 crashes right here at Toronto Pearson Airport. It's just around 2 p.m, but there are already major disruptions at the airport, with many flights cancelled or experiencing huge delays. We're already skeptical about whether our flight will depart as planned, but as you'll see, Air Canada never disappoints and there's much more to come. Another passenger in our car was also supposed to be on the Zurich flight with us yesterday, but got rebooked on the Lufthansa 747 via Frankfurt. Honestly, that would have been a great option, but what's even weirder though, is that we met a couple heading to Paris. Their flight was cancelled too and they said they were rebooked on Air Canada via Zurich today. That's strange considering we're flying to Zurich and got rebooked through Munich, since the Zurich flight apparently is fully booked. And at this point I'm sure that Air Canada's ground operations team is made up of Homer Simpson, Patrick Star and the Bluefish from Finding Nemo. And there's absolutely nothing to convince me otherwise. However, looking back, we're actually lucky we didn't get rebooked on that Zurich flight because it got cancelled again. I know this review will be a bit negative. Okay, maybe more than just a bit. Also, it's by far the longest one I've ever made, so if anyone is still watching at this point, a huge thank you. You're the real one. Feel free to check out my other videos too. I'm just a small YouTuber with no sponsorships, no hidden agendas, and I say things exactly how they are. Arriving at the airport, we realized the full extent of the flight delays and chaos. But as it seems, Air Canada doesn't want to risk angering the Germans with unpunctuality, because our flight to Munich is one of the few still on time. In Munich, we will have around 3 hours of layover, so if there's any delay, hopefully it won't be too long. Since we managed to check in yesterday but didn't receive any baggage tags, we try again today. Obviously the system still claims we don't have any checked baggage included in the booking. even though our bags were already checked in for the original flight. Flawless Air Canada logic as always. An Air Canada employee at the check-in machines tells us to line up at the check-in counter. So here we are again, spending at least another 30 minutes in line. And since half the airport seems to have check-in issues, the queue is endless. Apparently there's no Air Canada office at the airport, or maybe I'm just too dumb to find it. Either way, everyone ends up at the check-in counter for everything. Flight changes, cancellation, lost baggage, you name it. But to be fair, the Air Canada staff members standing around the check-in machines keep telling people to head to the counter, and when they do, the employees at the counter or those guarding the line snap at them for queuing without intending to check in. Patience, once again, is running thin for everyone at this point.
So if you have an actual flight today, please go back to it.
Hi, we check in, but somehow we cannot drop our bags. Yeah, this is the original flight, but it got cancelled. That's why we had to pick the bags up here.
I'm not entirely sure what the issue was here. Somehow the system didn't recognize our bags or didn't show that we had picked them up. Either way, it was blocked. The guy at the check-in counter didn't really know either and took his sweet time figuring it out. All in all, we're standing at that counter for almost 10 minutes. So yeah, it totally makes sense why the line is moving so slow. I can't really judge how difficult this problem was, but considering everyone seems to have issues, maybe it's a systemic thing. But at least I had time to fix a broken handle of my bag.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Just as we leave the check-in counter, we check the departure board again and, surprise surprise, our Air Canada flight to Munich, originally scheduled for 7 p.m, is delayed. New departure time? Midnight. And later that evening, it gets pushed even further to 5 a.m. the next day. We definitely don't want to arrive yet another day late, but we're also a bit worried that our bags won't make it since we'd miss our connection from Munich to Zurich operated by Lufthansa. So instead of standing in that endless line again, we ask an Air Canada staff member at the check-in machine for help.
The end of the hallway here, pick up the courtesy phone center phone to Air Canada, tell them, give them your confirmation, and they'll reschedule.
Aisle 6?
Aisle 15.
Aisle 15.
So there really is no Air Canada office at the airport, but there is a phone booth where you can call customer service. Canadians are all friendly, apart from one guy, and right now I'm on the phone with him.
Hi. Our flight was cancelled and now we got an alternative flight with a stopover, but now the alternative flight is also late, so we cannot make our other flight, and now I don't know what to do. With Air Canada. I have the tickets here. Sorry? Yeah. What should I tell you? I have the ticket right in front of me. Yes, at the airport.
After 10 minutes of wet breathing on the line, he finally tells me that we need to rebook our flight and to redirect the bags because they won't be forwarded automatically. However, apparently he can't process the rebooking or forward the bags for us. In fact, he can't do anything for us. If we need help, he says, we should head to the check-in counter. Yes, the check-in counter, the one where Air Canada staff snaps at people for standing in line with rebooking and baggage issues.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, he said he cannot change anything. We have to go to the staff and they can change it for us. And if we don't do it, our bags will not be sent to Switzerland. But he cannot do anything for us.
Meanwhile, the line at the check-in counter gets even longer. I'm pretty sure the wait time now is closer to an hour than to 30 minutes. And after some waiting, I decide to explain our situation to the staff member standing in front of the priority check-in line and ask if she can let us through. Patri waits in the regular line while the staff member checks with her manager. Surprisingly, she agrees to let me through. But as I wave Patri over, the Air Canada employee monitoring the economy line completely loses it. Instead of simply asking why she's moving, he immediately starts loudly accusing her of cutting the line. I try to explain that we were given permission to pass, but he keeps shouting. Only when the other staff member returns and confirms our story does he stop. And just like that, he walks away. No apology, no explanation, not even a word. Again, classic Air Canada customer service. Flawless organization. Air Canada style.
Get it back. I don't know. No, it's not cancelled, but our original flight was cancelled. We got rebooked to this one, but now this one is late, so we cannot make the second one. This is a problem here. Yeah. Because he told that if we don't come here, our bags will stay in Munich. Yeah. Cancelled, yes. Yeah, now this one is 5 hours late. Yeah. Yeah.
When did you put your luggage?
Just with him like 1 hour ago maybe.
So, is the flight delayed?
Before, we just walked away and then they said it's delayed. When we dropped it, they still did not say that it's delayed. Frankfurt or Zurich? But we will fly to Munich, right? We will fly to Munich, not to Frankfurt. Yeah, but the second flight is from Munich to Zurich, not from Frankfurt to Zurich. Okay, so we will fly from here to Frankfurt instead of Munich. Okay, I understand. To Frankfurt. And then tomorrow from Frankfurt to Zurich. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's also fine, yes. And our bags will... Yeah. Where downstairs? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have to check if I'm not dreaming, because this time the staff is actually friendly and helpful. Sure, it still takes a good 15 minutes, but at least we finally got a solution. We are rebooked on an Air Canada flight to Frankfurt. Unfortunately not the Lufthansa 747, but at least we now have a flight that gets us to Zurich earlier.
Yeah, also we booked economy class, but if we... I mean the original was... Yeah, it was economy originally. You want to upgrade or I don't understand. Yeah? Okay. We live there in Zurich. Yeah. We have the... Yeah. Not like here, but... I have not been for a long time.
This staff member also explains how we can retrieve our bags so we can check them in for the correct flight. Finally, some progress. Just now I realized that we were probably upgraded on our last flight, which doesn't really make sense since our Munich ticket shows economy class seats. But anyway, for this flight we were downgraded again. Fair enough though, we paid for economy class, so I can't really expect anything else. My name is not... Insert name of flight reviewer you hate here.
Yeah. 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 Okay. We can go inside. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
We enter the arrival baggage claim area, head to the baggage service counter, and obviously there's another massive line with wait times of around an hour. The line moves painfully slow.
We're asking for your patience. It can take up to an hour. Thank you very much.
No surprise there, with only 2 agents handling the crowd of frustrated passengers. Everyone seems to have some kind of problem or argument with them. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. So as a reminder, even if you're mad at the airline, if the staff treats you with respect, be nice to them, they're just people doing their job. One of the guys working there is pretty snappy and dismissive towards passengers, but luckily I end up at the counter with the friendly one.
So we have been waiting here for exactly 1 hour. And what they said is that currently they can't find our bags, but they will send somebody to look for it. But it will take 30 minutes to 1 hour. If I understood it correctly, we got meal vouchers now in worth of $60, which is quite nice.
We actually get free vouchers of $15 each per person, so a total of $90. I'm guessing they're required to give those out, but still it's pretty nice. Since we have nothing better to do while waiting for our bags, I decide to head over to Subway and Starbucks to grab us something to eat.
It has been 1.5 hours now since I told us our bag will be here, and it's still not here. So I will go back to the line and wait again to ask.
I wait again for about an hour, and it's now evening. Unfortunately, the friendly guy from before is gone and the new staff member has no clue about our situation. She says there is no record of anyone looking for our bags, which of course is why they still haven't been delivered. However, she promises to file a request and they would be starting to locate our bags as soon as possible. This time for real. Surprisingly, after some time of waiting at the carousel, we actually get the first bag. But then the carousel stops and the other bag is still missing. After waiting for an eternity again, I head back to the line for the third time. Finally, the woman at the counter tells us our bag is currently lost, but assures us that a search request has been filed and it will be automatically sent to Zurich once it has been found. Yeah, sure. Somehow I'm not entirely convinced, but it's already late in the evening and I don't want to risk missing the flight. There's nothing too valuable in the bag apart from a few clothes and gifts, so we decide to just abandon it and hope for the best. Shortly after, obviously our flight is just being announced delayed by another hour. But let's not drown in negativity. Even with a 1 hour delay, we should still be able to catch our connection. As we walk through the check-in area, I realize that all we've done today is wait in lines. So instead of wasting yet another hour for dropping off the bag, I decide to just take it as hand luggage. It's not that big anyway, that's what she said, and I'm definitely not rechecking it after everything. I want to keep at least one bag. Welcome back to the airside departure area of Toronto Pearson Airport, Terminal 1, the place we've already spent far too much time at over 24 hours ago. Luckily, the snow has stopped for now and the trucks are busy hauling it off to the melting station. Honestly, I have high hopes that everything will finally work out, but judging by how things have gone so far, the odds aren't exactly in our favor. And then it hits me, we still have some unused food vouchers. Now, we're not exactly starving, but I'm not about to let Air Canada get away with that. So we go ahead and spend them on ridiculously overpriced stuff like airport sushi and a massive bottle of Fiji water from Starbucks. Our flight is still a bit delayed, but a long line is already forming at the gate. With nothing better to do, we join the queue. As I mentioned, unfortunately we're not flying on the 747, which is also heading to Frankfurt soon. Instead, we're stuck with a 9-year-old 7879 Dreamliner. This video is seriously getting much too long, so I'll drop the actual flight as a separate trip report next week. You'll see what Air Canada 787 is like if everything goes well. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.